the Knicks are quietly losing the exact coaching minds that helped engineer their championship, and it's happening so fast that fans should genuinely be worried about what's actually being drained out of this organization behind the scenes. I've gone through the full pattern of departures hitting this coaching staff, what New York is actually losing in the process, and why this should be a bigger story than it's currently getting. Every quote, every detail. Let's break it all down right now. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because this is a genuinely under-discussed threat to this entire title defense. Let's start with the newest departure, because it's a genuinely bigger loss than most fans probably realize. The Knicks are losing assistant coach Jordan Brink to the Chicago Bulls. Brink, in case you weren't already aware, was the actual mastermind responsible for New York's replay challenge system under both Tom Thibodeau and Mike Brown, a genuinely specialized, behind-the-scenes role that directly impacted real, tangible outcomes across countless close games over multiple seasons. Losing someone with that specific, hard-to-replace expertise isn't the kind of departure that makes headlines the way a star player trade does. But it's exactly the kind of quiet, technical loss that can genuinely hurt a team in ways fans won't notice until it's too late. Replay challenge decisions have swung genuine playoff games in recent years across the entire league, meaning the person actually responsible for that specific process carries real, tangible strategic value that rarely gets appreciated until it's suddenly gone. That departure doesn't exist in isolation either, and that's exactly what should have Knicks fans genuinely paying closer attention right now. Chris Gent, the offensive coordinator who Mike Brown repeatedly and specifically credited throughout New York's entire playoff run for identifying the exact strategic buttons to press against every single opponent, is now a genuine candidate for the Portland Trail Blazers' own head coaching opening. That search only opened up after Portland lost Tiago Splitter to the Chicago Bulls' own head coaching job earlier this offseason, meaning the very same organization that just poached Jordan Brink is also the organization whose coaching vacancy indirectly created the opening Chris Gent is now being considered for elsewhere. It's a genuinely tangled web once you actually trace it out. One single organization's coaching search setting off a chain reaction that's now touching this exact Knicks staff from two completely different directions at once. Think about what's actually happening here for a second. In the span of a single offseason, this championship coaching staff has already lost a specialized replay coordinator outright. And it's genuinely at real risk of losing its offensive coordinator too. The exact assistant Brown singled out repeatedly for helping engineer wins over Boston, Cleveland, and San Antonio during the actual title run. That's not a coincidence, and it's not a minor storyline either. It's a genuine pattern of other organizations around the league specifically targeting the individual coaching minds that helped build this championship. One piece at a time. Two separate departures, both tied back to the exact same rival organization, is exactly the kind of pattern that stops looking like coincidence and starts looking like a genuine, deliberate talent raid on this specific coaching staff. It's worth remembering just how remarkable this entire staff's accomplishment actually was in the first place too, because that's exactly what makes losing pieces of it now feel so genuinely significant. Brown's entire coaching staff, including Gent, TJ Saint, Rick Brunson, Maurice Cheeks, and player development hires Charles Allen and Ricardo Foyce, came together for the very first time entering this past season. Within that single first year working together, they delivered New York's first NBA championship since 1973, an accomplishment the NBA Coaches Association itself formally recognized. Assembling that kind of chemistry and shared strategic vision from scratch and immediately winning a title is an extraordinarily rare feat, which is exactly why other franchises around the league are now circling this specific group so aggressively. It's genuinely difficult for any coaching staff to replicate that level of instant success even once, which makes the idea of quietly picking that same group apart within months of the actual title genuinely painful to watch unfold for a fan base still celebrating. There's also a genuinely uncomfortable irony buried in all of this too. New York spent months building a genuinely deep, accomplished coaching staff specifically because head coach Mike Brown wanted real strategic depth and specialized expertise surrounding him. Now, that same depth and specialization is exactly what's making this staff such an attractive target for other rebuilding or coach-searching organizations around the league. Success has genuinely created its own problem here. The same qualities that helped this staff win a championship are the exact qualities other teams now want to poach for themselves. Head coach Mike Brown himself hasn't publicly addressed either departure in any real depth yet, and it remains genuinely unclear how significantly the front office plans to address these specific losses before training camp actually opens. Replacing a specialized replay coordinator and potentially an offensive coordinator, both in the same short off-season window, right as this team prepares to defend an actual championship, represents a genuinely significant behind-the-scenes challenge that's getting far less attention than it probably deserves given everything else happening around this roster. Step back and look at the complete picture here, and this coaching exodus represents a genuinely real, under-discussed threat to New York's title defense heading into this new season. It's easy for fans to focus entirely on player extensions, roster construction, and the ongoing center search, but the actual coaching infrastructure behind this championship, the strategic minds who identified matchups, coordinated the offense, and managed the technical details that decided close games, is quietly getting picked apart piece by piece. If this pattern continues, New York could genuinely enter this title defense with a meaningfully different, less experienced coaching staff than the one that actually won the championship in the first place. So here's where everything stands. The Knicks have already lost replay coordinator Jordan Brink to the Chicago Bulls, and offensive coordinator Chris Gent remains a genuine candidate for Portland's own head coaching search, a pattern that shows other organizations around the league are specifically targeting the individual coaching minds behind this championship staff. Whether New York manages to keep the rest of this group intact or continues losing pieces of it right as training camp approaches, could genuinely shape how smoothly this team's actual title defense unfolds. So tell me what you think. Are you genuinely concerned about the Knicks losing this much coaching talent right before defending a championship? Or do you believe the front office and Mike Brown can adequately replace these specific losses? And do you think Chris Gent ultimately leaves for Portland's head coaching job? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you catch every update as it happens. I'll be back soon with more Knicks news.